Welcome to Neighborhood Gym, Season 2.
So here at Barbell Club, we focus mainly on the Olympic lifts, which are the snatch and the clean and jerk. We also incorporate a lot of other barbell strength movements, such as the deadlifts, front squats, back squats, and then other accessory work to make sure that these young athletes that are going right now stay well balanced, because it is a pretty repetitive sport. Like soccer or football, you kind of want to get really good at a couple things. So we always focus on mainly snatches and clean and jerks for technique work and strength work, but then a lot of other accessory work to make sure they are well-rounded athletes. So if they want to go participate in another sport, they have that opportunity to do well in that sport.
How has the Body Shop changed my athleticism or prepared me for school? So I'm coming off an ACL injury, so one of the biggest things for me is like strength, and even though I'm cleared, like it's continuing to build that strength. So I texted Allie and I was like, hey, like I need somewhere to work out, like I gotta get stronger. You know, a lot of these girls in our conference are a lot bigger than I was used to in high school, and so she was like, that's super easy. So they're working on me with like foot speed, like we're making sure that like I'm still super agile and I can get to the ball quicker and things like that. We're also making sure that I'm a lot stronger, so that way I do not hurt my knee again, as well as like I don't get shoved off the ball. Like I'm strong enough to hold my own out on the field, because it's a whole other level. It differ from here versus NGU. So NGU is just like I'm with my team, so it's very like we're focused on like a team goal versus more of an individual goal. And also our weightlifting coach is like super intense, like always on you, kind of like that. I love her to death though, Coach K's great. But I hear him with Allie, and so she's much more like, okay, it's more one-on-one. So it's like I'm getting the focus on things like I know what I need to work on from NGU and Body Shop, like make sure I'm specifically pinpointing those individual things. So that way when I go back to NGU, I'm better for that team goal. So the summer is about working on the individual, so that when I go in for the fall, I can be more of a teammate. What motivates me to train? I just always I like to be busy. So for me, training is a way to stay busy, and I like being active. Plus, it's a way to better my game. Like with soccer, there's always going to be someone better than you in like every aspect of your game. There's always going to be someone faster, someone stronger, stuff like that. So for me, training is my way to get back into the game since I was injured. So now I'm trying to get to that next level, and that's what training motivates me, because I always want to be better than that next person, so.
Hey guys, Coach Matt here, and today we're going to go over the conventional deadlift. So, the first thing you kind of want to do is make sure you approach the bar with the proper stance. For a conventional deadlift, your feet are going to be about right underneath your hips, maybe a little wider or a little more narrow, right? Once again, it's all up to you. Next, there are a couple different hand positions you can have. The first one is going to be double overhead, all right? So, depending on how tall you are, your hands are going to vary as well with how far away they are from your body. For the conventional deadlift, you always want your hands far enough away that you'll be able to drive your knees out, keeping them nice and wide, versus if your hands are too close together, say you want them here on the barbell, well now your knees are going to be in the way of your hands. So, back to the double overhead. I always like at least to start with the rule of thumb, I call it. Take your thumb, put it on the knurling, space your hand all the way out, then wrap your hand around. Right? And that would be your double overhead. The other two ones you can do is alternate which hand you have underneath. So, you can put your hands out, rule of thumb, double overhead, and then flip one hand over, or vice versa. Whichever one's more comfortable to you. And once again, that's just all personal preference. A lot of people like their dominant hand underneath. I like my right hand underneath. I just feel like that's more comfortable for me. You might like the other one. One we do not do is double underhand. Not doing that one. That puts too much tension in the elbows and the biceps. And then next, we're going to go into 3 common mistakes that you can do with your conventional deadlift. Alright guys, so here is tip number 1 for your deadlifts. Alright, a lot of people like to get real close to the bar. Perfect, right, for the deadlift. And then what they also like to do is get the back nice and tight. Perfect for the deadlift. But what they don't like to account for is the slack in between themselves, the barbell, and the plates. You might be able to hear it, you might not want to do it right here, but this little bit, that slack in the bar needs to be taken up before you do your deadlift. Right? So maybe, especially if it's lighter or just a little heavy, you don't want to snap at the bar, even if your back is really tight. Then all of a sudden you go to jerk the bar up off the ground, all that weight hits you at once. Right? You want to get nice and close. Pull your chest nice and high, and there should be weight in your fingertips. And then when you push off the floor, the weight comes straight up. You don't want to hear it come off the floor. Now if I let my weight rest kind of in my wrist here, and now I'm kind of sitting on the barbell, I can still pull my chest up high, but I'm not tight with the bar. See these 2 different positions? And now when I go to rip the bar off the ground, all that weight all of a sudden goes into my back instead of pulling my chest up tall. First, having the bar come off the ground, side. And here's tip number 2 for your deadlift. Sometimes we went over everything to start with, and even if you start tight with the bar and you push very well, sometimes your hips will rise faster than your chest. What that does is put all the weight now into your lower back instead of letting your back hold position and your legs do the work. Right? If a lot of people say deadlifts bother their back, 1, it's either because of the rounding, or 2, they do something like this. Right? So we'll go double overhand again. Remember our deadlifts, you want to pull yourself the bar, pull your chest up nice and high. Remember this tension in the barbell needs to be pushed out with your legs and push. Right? Versus sometimes if your core is not engaged quite enough, as soon as you push, this happens. Right? As you can see, my shoulders didn't go anywhere, but my hips came up. So then it turns into kind of this 2-part deadlift where you push, this happens, now you have to lift the rest with your back. That right here is not something you want to do. There's a lot of tension in your low back right here. Versus pulling down, holding this position, and pushing with your legs, shoulders and hips rise at the same time, and then your glutes lock the bar up. With tip number 3 on your deadlift. So we've gone over some starting positions. We've also gone over a common mistake that happens off the floor. Now we're going to go over the last common mistake that happens in the lockout. So when you lock out your deadlift, what you want to do is make sure you're using your quads and your glutes to lock the bar out. And whenever you stand all the way up, your back should be in the same position as whenever you start. So what that looks like is here, right? What we've been doing, pull your chest up tall, pull the slack out of the bar, push into the floor, quads and glutes, lock the bar out. And then we go back, down. Versus, sometimes if you get to the very top, it's a very heavy deadlift. You want to get a little extra range of motion. Instead of allowing your quads and your glutes to do the work, you use your low back to kind of feel like you're getting a little extra extension. You may have seen guys come here, right? So this, you get here, and then all of a sudden, instead of locking it out, you pull back with your back. Now all this weight is now sitting in your lower back and not stacked over top of your heels. So we go back down, we come up, we push, lock your knees out, and squeeze your hips into the bar. All right? And then squeeze your glutes, turn your femurs out a little bit, and then lock the bar out. Versus pulling with your low back and not compromising this position. All right, the back and chest all stay in one position from the floor all the way up. Just because we get to the top Doesn't mean now we get to do this.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give us a share or comment down below. You can also find us on social media. Thanks again.